Well, being the bargain hunter that I am, my wife and I do a lot of garage sailing, and we happened to run across a used Keurig. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit older model machine, but at any rate, we bought it on a garage sale for $2, a bargain. They said it works fine. We brought it home, and lo and behold, no, it didn't work. It seemed to heat up fine. You turn it on, it would heat up perfectly. But during the heat up process, or I shouldn't say during the heat up process, but during the brewing process, raise the lid and lower it back down, and all of the water would come back through this little overflow tube here and back down into the reservoir. I was like, okay, well, get on YouTube, try to figure out what's wrong, and everybody had about the same solution, which was this little handy thing. Well, I poked holes in everything that I could see underneath the lid here and inside the reservoir, and cleaned the reservoir and cleaned inside, pulled all the good stuff apart and all that. That didn't help. That was a waste of time. So anyway, after a lot of fiddling around, I pulled the bottom off of the machine, pulled that off, and couldn't see anything that was obvious down there. I thought I could get the whole cover off, more to it than just a couple of screws. So I gave up on that. Went up to the top, pulled off the handle. There's just a couple little screws. See, I've got this partially disassembled yet. I've got it fixed now that I have it fixed. One little wrench to pull these screws off the side of the handles here. There, on both sides. And that pops right off. Boom, off. And there's a couple screws down underneath this little cover. You have to open it up in order to get to them. They're like right there. Nothing else. There's just a couple of clips on the other end that kind of hold it in place once it's screwed in. So anyway, remove those screws. Here's the screws that I pulled out. Remove that top plate. I actually pulled this cover off of there too, which I didn't need to do. But now that I know I didn't need to, I tried pulling this cover off here also. The top of this, there's a couple of screws down inside, but couldn't get any farther than that. I gave up. There's one of the screws right there. But never mind that. Anyway, so what I found to be the issue here was, open it up and you can see the water reservoir down inside here, where the water heats up, right down inside there. There's electricity there, so you don't want to put your fingers on those little prongies, but I've got it plugged in. So at any rate, what I found out was I could see that it was, instead of pumping water up through here and down into where the K-cup would normally be, all the water was going down through this little tube here, which leads over down inside the reservoir and ends up just pumping back down inside the reservoir. So anyway, I pulled this tube off. I pulled this out of here, and it comes out of there fairly easily. Probably be best to pull it like from up here. You can either clip this little thing or just give it a little brute force and pull it apart right here. This is just a coupler. And there's a little one-way valve here, and this all comes apart, but I pulled these two screws out here, pulled this whole assembly up and out, and I tried to blow through this, and you can blow through it. Obviously, if you can't blow through it, the water's not going to flow through it either. Couldn't blow through it this way or that way. With this one-way valve in here, it shouldn't go that direction anyway. It's to help prevent that water from backflowing. So, as I said, I couldn't blow through this direction, so I ended up just pulling this all apart here, disassembled this, just used a little force and pulled that coupler apart, popped it apart. And then I pulled this whole hose off of this end. This valve was all by itself then, and you can disassemble that. This little ring right here keeps this together, and there again, all I had to do is I slid that down. I put a little bit of Vaseline on there just to lubricate it, and slid that down that direction, and it took a lot of force to get this apart here, but I worked, and when worked, this is actually quite flexible. I worked this whole thing apart, and then I still couldn't blow through there, so I pulled that whole valve in the end here. You can see that it's got a little black O-ring that goes around it to seal it. But pulled that out, and it's a one-way valve that allows the water to flow that way, and then there's a spring that pushes that valve back the other direction to not allow the water to flow backwards. At any rate, disassembled all that, and I cleaned it up, and actually put a little Vaseline on that too, and made sure that I could blow through it. Reassembled it, put everything all back together, and this was the result here. I just have to put it all back together, but we're able to see now that the water actually flows. There it goes. Up through there, through that valve, and down through the front, and into the cup. It's amazing. It smells like vinegar, because I'm descaling it. It made all kinds of funny popping noises when I started it. So anyway, while I'm reassembling, it'll descale, and got to flush it out, and I will have a Keurig that works like new. Have a good day.